This is, I think, the reason for the emotion behind some of the response in some people is that you seem to be undermining things that have been fundamental to most evangelicals' view of the world, and they can accept hearing that from a liberal. They can accept hearing that from other streams of Christianity that have a different view. What they find hard is to hear it from somebody who they'd thought of as one of their own.
So, like I think it's, I don't know if it's in the UK edition of the book. Eugene Peterson, who wrote The Message, says that the book doesn't give up 1 ounce of evangelical conviction. You would say Eugene Peterson is full of rubbish.
I wouldn't like to say full of rubbish, but I would like to say that, to my mind, even in our interview today, you seem to have cast doubt on a very literal interpretation of certain Bible passages. And to me, that causes me problems in recognizing you as an evangelical.
Well, I asked you a series of questions about aeon because of my serious study of the Scriptures and my understanding of the Christian tradition and what scholars have said about the word aeon. So and the book is my attempt to be true to the Scriptures and give these various narrative plot lines to give this story its proper due and to highlight perhaps things that are sitting right there in the text that people haven't heard. So the idea that somehow I'm dismissing the Scriptures, then why do I spend so much time trying to get out what they really say?
I never said you were dismissing them. I said you have a different approach to them.
Well, okay. So does a different approach... I mean, when I was asking you questions about forever... those are questions that lots and lots of people have. Are we reading our ideas of eternal and forever into this text? And is there anything about the background, the words, the context, the flow of the places where we find those passages that would cause us to ask some questions?
I mean,
about some of
whether
these
or
words?
not you...
So that's serious study
obviously
and exploration
you feel
and
that
pursuit.
the views you've outlined are not kind of so crazy and out there. They've been expressed before by church fathers. You mentioned Origen, obviously. And
I mean, the tradition is taking this book seriously.
Yeah.
That's the tradition.
The problem is now, in a sense, in purely practical terms, Rob.
Yes.
When someone is thinking of inviting you to their church event, their conference, they're going to think twice because the book has, in a way, kind of earmarked you in many people's minds as having a certain theological trajectory, and the person who invites you to their event will essentially be saying, I'm in that camp, sort of thing. And is that a problem? Have you kind of almost self-excluded yourself almost from a certain mainstream view, not necessarily intending to do that, but simply by the fact that you've published a book which has raised this issue in such a public way?
I get this honor and privilege, even today talking with you all, of interacting with people across the spectrum. And I find this discussion, and I find all of these perspectives on the resurrected Christ fascinating and compelling and life-giving. So, to me, I'm carrying on the tradition of wrestling with the Scriptures and announcing the good news of the resurrected Christ and calling people to this Jesus right here and right now. Now, if there is somebody who is at some place on the spectrum or whatever who sees this as dangerous, toxic, unorthodox, whatever, that is their prerogative. But some sort of charge that I'm dismissing this Christ or not taking the Scripture seriously, or I don't deeply want to see people reconciled to God through Christ is wrong.
I'm sure no one would accuse...
Your question about, well, maybe you're not going to get invited to a church conference somewhere. Okay. I'll have to live with that.